In this ecosystem, Leo the lion sits at the very top of the social hierarchy. From this vantage point, his dominance looks absolute. He maintains this position through one primary tool, his roar. It serves as a constant reminder of his physical power, ensuring everyone else follows his lead simply to avoid the threat of violence. But this method creates a massive gap between the leader and the led. Animals like Milo, Tina, and Ravi don't follow Leo because they want to. They do it to survive. This results in a kingdom where every subject keeps as much physical and emotional distance from their king as possible. This diagram reveals the inherent instability of a system built on threat. This pyramid is held together only by these jagged red arrows, the pressure of fear. If that pressure is removed, the icons at the base have no reason to stay connected. Leo's rule isn't based on a solid foundation, but on a thin veneer of control. His authority is entirely dependent on his ability to keep everyone else intimidated. That control was stripped away in a single night. A violent storm tore through the jungle, and by morning, the king's greatest weapon vanished. Leo tried to assert his presence as he always did, but no sound came out. Without his roar, he had lost the only instrument he knew how to use to command the jungle. The social order dissolved instantly. Without the threat of the roar, a power vacuum opened. Milo the monkey, sensing the shift, openly mocked Leo from the safety of the trees, knowing the king could no longer project his power. Losing his voice exposed Leo's true standing. Without the ability to threaten, he wasn't a king at all. He was just a large, isolated animal, effectively removed from his position of power by his own silence. When leadership is built strictly on the ability to cause harm, losing that capacity means losing all claim to authority. While navigating the jungle in this state of isolation, Leo encountered Ravi the rabbit. Ravi was pinned under a heavy branch that had fallen during the storm, unable to move. Leo's first instinct was to dominate the situation, but he couldn't roar to demand attention. This silence forced him to consider a different approach, one that didn't rely on being the most dangerous presence in the clearing. Instead of exerting power over the rabbit, Leo used his physical strength to help him. He moved closer, braced his weight, and lifted the obstacle, allowing Ravi to scramble to safety. In this moment, Leo realized that his strength could be used for something other than intimidation. He found that his value to others was no longer defined by how much they feared him, but by what he could provide for them. By losing the ability to scaring others away, Leo was forced to find a way to draw them in. His vulnerability became the bridge he needed to finally connect with his subjects. Word of what happened with Ravi spread through the trees. The other animals began to watch Leo differently, noticing that his behavior had shifted from maintaining a threat to offering assistance. He began taking an active role in the well-being of the group. He helped Tina find her offspring, guided animals toward water, and shielded smaller creatures from predators. This diagram shows how the social dynamic began to change. Instead of the jagged arrows of fear, we see these thin, neutral lines representing a new currency of trust. Leo is still the central node, but the relationship is no longer about one-way pressure. As Leo continued to prove his utility, those connections thickened and turned green. The distance that used to define the jungle began to vanish, leaving Leo at the center of a community that was now tightly bound by choice rather than by threat. Loyalty isn't something that can be taken. It is built piece by piece through actions that benefit the entire community. Eventually, the animals did something they had never done before. They gathered around Leo by choice. They stood close to him, not because they were trapped, but because they felt secure in his presence. Tina the deer spoke for the group, making it clear that Leo was their king because of the character he had shown. His authority was no longer a result of his roar, but of the respect he had earned. In that moment, something shifted inside him. Leo threw his head back, and for the first time since the storm, his roar returned, sounding clearer and stronger than ever before. The reaction was different this time. No one fled, no one hid. They stayed exactly where they were, cheering for the sound they now recognized as a promise of protection for the whole jungle.
Real power isn't the ability to keep others down. It's the strength to lift them up.